Good morning, Sapporo. It is 8:47 a.m. on this very grey, cold Saturday morning. I've just done the very glamorous job of putting my washing in. It's currently 1.6 degrees. There are tiny little flakes of snow falling. It is very, very cold. I have half an hour to wait for my washing, so I'm about to go and get myself some onigiri for breakfast. And then, despite the cold and the awful weather, I'm not letting this hold me back. I will be going around and seeing some of the sights in Sapporo today. Maybe the day will get better. The weather forecast doesn't suggest that, but we have high hopes for a good day nonetheless. Hopefully it gets slightly warmer than this. Forecast is for 6 degrees today, so fairly balmy and spring-like. Really looking forward to seeing Sapporo. It's a really different looking city to the others that I've seen so far. That bit down there with those trees and that really old church thing looks like Tallinn or somewhere. Maybe unsurprising given that Russia is only just up there. Happy Saturday. I finally got all the domestic chores out of the way, boring and tedious as they are, but they're necessary. And now I've started on my sightseeing adventure for this freezing cold day. It's 1.6 degrees. I'm here under my clear umbrella again, which is exceedingly useful for when you want to put the thing down because you can see straight through it. You're not going to crash into anyone or miss anything. I'm heading off now to a park that runs down the center of Sapporo. It runs for 13 blocks, in fact, 1.5 kilometers, 13 blocks right down the middle with the road on either side. It's where they have the ice festival in winter. It's apparently where they have pretty much most of what they do throughout the year is in some part of this massive 13 block park, which I can't remember the name of right now, but I will do before the next video. The payoff at the end, at the northern end, no, the western end, I'll work out what direction I'm going in. That was south, that's east, west, right? So the payoff in the western end of the park is the TV tower, which I initially thought was that structure there. And I thought to myself, Jesus, don't tell me we have to walk up a ladder to get to the observation deck, but clearly it wasn't high enough. The TV tower is actually over that way behind that building. I think the TV tower is a slightly more enclosed structure than that. Said it's 1.6 degrees. It isn't snowing at the moment, it's just light rain, but I have 3 layers of clothes on and I'm still freezing. There are people walking around here with rolled up jeans, nothing underneath, no gloves, no anything. I suppose this is normal for acclimatized folk. Check this out. I've come around the corner and there it is. That is the Sapporo TV Tower. This is Soseigawa, literally the banks of the Sosei River. Change hands because my frozen fingers are not working. This is the Sosei River. Like a lot of rivers through the middle of Japanese cities, it obviously has been affected by man. It clearly wasn't built up like this as a river. This one's really lovely. It sort of flows in a straight line right down the middle of the city. There's a really old bridge up there, which I'd like to see in a second. All of these modern structures. This one's really cool, actually. It's just this white walkway that goes around in a circle from this bridge over to that one. I really like it. So this behind is Odori Koen. This is the park that goes for 13 blocks. Starting here, now let me get my directions right. This is the western end of the park, I think. Starting with the TV tower. The old clock tower is the building that I found earlier that I thought reminded me of Tallinn. It's the oldest building in Sapporo, apparently. It was only built in 1876, which shows you kind of how modern a city this is relative to some other Japanese cities. At some point, we're going to walk all the way down there, all the way down Odori Koen to the other end. But first I want to go up and see this beautiful old bridge. May or may not be a genuinely old bridge, but we'll find out soon. At some point rather soon, I actually think this device is going to stop recognizing my fingerprint because my fingers are so fucking cold, I can barely move them. French beds. The really interesting interesting thing for me with Sapporo and Hokkaido generally is that I don't actually know anything about this place at all. Aside from the fact that Sapporo hosted the 1972 Winter Olympics, they're kind of riding on the coattails of something that was 46 years ago. I don't know anything about this city at all. I haven't got my bearings. I can't find any kind of hop on, hop off, whatever bus. I can't get my bearings at all. I don't know whether I'm facing east or west or south or north. The only point of reference I have is that when I left Sapporo station last night, I had to go from the south exit, and that the TV tower is at the western end of Odori Koen, which means west. Okay, so that's east. So the station is down there. That's south. All right, I've got my bearings, I think. As long as I remember that that is the end of the park going that way and not the beginning of the park going that way. Whenever I travel, it's very important to me to have my bearings and know where I am. There's nothing worse than looking at sodding Google Maps and not being able to decide what direction it's actually pointing you in. Who hasn't been in that situation before? Now, to me, this place on the corner looks like a fairly traditional kind of Japanese building, and it looks reasonably old, I would have thought, and yet apparently that clock tower is still the oldest building in the city, and it was only 1876. I would have thought that building looks even older than that. This town is a real mystery, but more than that, I really need to find somewhere to buy some fucking gloves because my hand is literally about to snap off. It's so cold, it's burning, and my fingers have stopped moving, so I kind of need to stop this right now. Now here's something that only the best cold weather cities do. I'm in one of the big department stores, and they're spread over multiple buildings. And to save anyone from having to go outside when it's cold and snowing an awful like today, and presumably like it gets in winter, there's this whole series of underground corridors and walkways to move between streets and between different buildings with everything in them that you could possibly need, including everything that you would ordinarily find on the street in a warmer city, in a warmer environment, in warmer climes, if you will. There's a food market down here. There's like a whole Marui. Marui is the name of the chain, and there's like a whole supermarket down here. There's cafes, all sorts of different food. There's so much stuff here. It is, and it looks delicious. All of it looks oishi. Oishi. Now all I need to do is find where the menswear section is so I can get some gloves, and I'll be sorted. And that might be it right there. Imagine having to come down here and be in the midst of all this food. I actually think I'm just heading back to where I came from. Did I not just come this way? There's a floor directory here. North, east, west, Ishi, Minamai, Ichijo, orange, pink, south. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I'm seriously lost. It's not just that one department store. It is an entire shopping mall. An entire shopping mall that is completely underground. The whole thing is underground. You don't have to go outside into the cold at all. So if the only thing I was here to do was go shopping, then I would be able to stay down here and I would be able to forego the gloves and I wouldn't have to worry about a scarf. But because I need to go up and outside, I still have to worry about the gloves. So I still need to find somewhere to get some gloves, otherwise my fingers are not going to work. What I was saying before about getting my bearings, it's even worse when you're underground because there is literally no point of reference now. I'm underground, I'm in the middle of Aurora Town and Toll Town, plus it's part of the station, I think. There's a streetcar somewhere. I have no idea where I am. This is so exciting. This place is absolutely incredible. It is so big, it just keeps going and going and going and going. The one thing I can't find is anywhere that sells anything for men. It's women everywhere. No, even here, I thought there was men's stuff there, but there's not. It's all women, 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 women. All I want is a pair of sodding gloves. How hard can it be? So this is really kind of annoying. I've come from one end of Chikage Pole Town to the other, that enormous long shopping mall that I just shot some footage of. And aside from the one tiny store that had half of it dedicated to business shirts and ties, there's not one single menswear store in there. I currently have no idea where I am. I've just come back into the station concourse, same side I was before, different side, I have no idea. But it all joins up to the station. I have no idea what direction I'm facing or where I've come from or where I need to go to or where the next shopping mall is. It's kind of cool, but it's also sort of annoying because I want to go back outside and get some more footage and do some more exploring of the park and whatnot, but I need some gloves in order to do that. And without gloves, I can't go back outside. This is not going to work, so it needs to be soon, I think.